the 29th. But we're gonna touch a little bit on each series. Um, and we're gonna just get started in the West. Last night the Minnesota Timberwolves swept the Phoenix Suns. I don't even know where to begin, honestly. Let's give our flowers to the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. This is their first playoff series win since 2004. Now, if you can't do math, that was 20 years ago. I was 4, or maybe even 3. I didn't even turn 4 yet. I was 3 years old last time the Minnesota Timberwolves won a playoff series, and that was with Kevin Garnett. I believe they went to the Western Conference Finals that year. But that was the year Detroit ended up beating the Lakers in 5 games. So, this is a extremely huge win for the entire fan base for Minnesota. So, congrats to them. Anthony Edwards had 40 points. He only scored 9 points in the first half. 31 in the second half. He was 2 for 8 in the first half. Comes out and just had, I forget how many points he had in the third quarter, but he was just cooking. They could not slow him down. It didn't matter if Durant was on him. Again, this is the same problem that we've basically been having all series. In game 1, he had 31, and they couldn't stop him. Today, they did a pretty good job in the first half, or not today, I should say last night. Last night, they did a pretty good job in the first half, and then in the second half, they just let him get going. He had the clutch dunk right over Durant with a couple minutes left to go in the game. He has changed the Minnesota franchise around a lot. And it's not just him. Everybody was crapping on the Rudy Gobert trade, right? Because they did overpay a little bit. They sent 4 first round picks and all that. They sent pick swaps, but like Rudy Gobert probably will be the defensive player of the year. They've had the number 1 defense all season long. Last season, they didn't know how to play Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert together because Karl-Anthony Towns was always playing the center. Now he's moving to the power forward spot. And Naz Reid, who just won 6th Man of the Year, he's really good too. So he's going to play with one of them as well. But this year, you shout out Chris Finch for really finding a way to make it all work. They weren't a great offensive team, but for them to be able to work defensively, and this series showed that, listen, Anthony Edwards is the guy. Like he's the future. He's the next guy up. When ESPN makes their top 10 rankings that they do every year over the summer, ESPN or Bleacher Report or The Ringer, or when somebody makes their top 10 or top 100 players in the league, Anthony Edwards will be top 10. He will be. It doesn't matter what happens in the second round. They have done a phenomenal job. He has turned that franchise around. They're gonna be here for a really, really long time. Anthony Edwards is in his 4th season again. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's a veteran, but he's not 30. He's not 33. He's not 34. Like he still has a lot of time left. Gobert's the oldest, but I think this is the best basketball Gobert has played in his entire career. So they keep this core together, which will be tough. The one thing that might hold them back is just the fact that this team is very, very expensive. So how will they be able to keep their 3 stars together and then be able to keep a good enough role players around them? Because you see on Phoenix's side, Phoenix is going through the same problem. You have Durant, Booker, Bradley Beal, all on max contracts or super max contracts. Matt Ishbia, listen, a lot of people are going to roast Kevin Durant for this season, for having so much star talent and not being able to get it done. And look, he should listen, everybody should be blamed. Frank Vogel should get some blame. Durant, Booker, Beal, who was terrible last night. 4 of 13. He had 6 turnovers. He ended up fouling out. But like Beal was not good this season. A lot of it was because of injury. But when you needed him most, he did not show up at all these playoffs. You're sacrificing your depth for the top end talent, okay? And you have like guys like Royce O'Neal is a good role player. Yusuf Nurkic was fine. I actually thought Yusuf Nurkic was pretty impressive this entire season for the Suns, but Sometimes he wouldn't close games. They would close games a lot with Durant at playing the five. And then you have like Drew Eubanks, who's okay, but you're not gonna trust him really in a 7 game playoff series. And the rest of their bench is just they're okay guys. You know what I'm saying? So this is what happens when you put all your effort into trading for these top guys and not really focusing on your depth. Okay, this is a Matt Ishbia issue. You have Kevin Durant, right? He asked for a trade last summer. It doesn't seem like everything's going well and all that. Ben Simmons' back injury is keeping him out and all that. So he asked for a trade. Obviously, nothing gets done. Kyrie, Ben Simmons are all on Brooklyn to start the season. Obviously, things started going left. Kyrie and the front office were not getting along. Eventually, I forget who leaves first, but eventually both of them leave. Kyrie gets traded to Dallas. Phoenix trade Kevin Durant to, I believe Kyrie Irving was the one who went first. But Kyrie goes to Dallas. Kevin Durant goes to goes to Phoenix after asking for a trade, but then kind of rescinding the request. And the reason why is because Matt Ishbia buys the team from, I forgot the other bro's name. Buys the team from the previous owner who got caught saying the N-word, so he's out. Here he comes, and the first thing he does is like, we're gonna get Kevin Durant. Mikal Bridges, you're gone. Cam Johnson, you're gone. All these draft picks gone. Guys, they don't have a first round draft pick for the next like 5 years. They have nothing to trade, bro. Like nothing. No first round draft picks from 2025 to 2030. And all of that went in the Durant trade. He was so excited. He wants to buy a new team. He's so involved in the process that he himself is the reason why they're here today. Why they got swept today. Because of poor roster construction. You need bench players in the playoffs. You need depth. It's very important. To me, we're in the NBA now where it's not about having the big three, like everybody talks about, not Durant, Bron and Wade and Bosh and stuff like that. We're not in that era anymore. I think you need like 2 guys, and then you need other top end talent, and then you need some role players, you need some bench players. Okay, look at the Nuggets. I always say this, but look at the Nuggets. You have Nikola Jokic. You have Jamal Murray, who I know he hasn't made an all-star team yet, but that guy's an all-star level player. Like, no doubt about it. And then you have really good role players who are like all-star fringe, like Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. You have good high-level role players in Peyton Watson. And last year, they had Bruce Brown. You got Christian Brown. You have Reggie Jackson. Like, they're a well-constructed team. The Phoenix Suns are all just, okay, we have Durant, Booker, and Beal, and we're just going to win a championship. Like, no, that's not the formula. And a lot of it is his fault. I know people are going to blame Durant. I'm not saying he shouldn't be, because he's the leader. He's the best player on the team. But this is a roster construction. I don't really know. Like, they're kind of stuck with it. Well, with this team. Because remember, Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, meaning he could basically pick whatever destination he wants to go. That's their fault. They traded for him. You knew the risk, and you traded for him anyway. So very, very disappointing season for the Phoenix Suns. End up getting swept. Again, I'm not sure how they could realistically, while paying all these top guys, get high-end depth and bench players, but we'll see. We can talk about them more in the off season, honestly, when the playoffs are over. But congratulations to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, we're gonna quickly go over OKC and the Pelicans. OKC just is destroying them. They're up 3-0. Game 4 is tonight. The Pelicans they don't even look like they belong on the same court as OKC. Like OKC, offensively, defensively, they're just in a groove. Like they're hitting their threes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cannot be guarded by anybody on the other team. Chet Holmgren, this is his first playoff series, bro, And last game, game 3, he had what, like 4 or 5 blocks. Just being able to protect the paint. He has great timing on his blocks. He can stretch the floor. He can attack the basket. He has been fantastic in his first playoff series. Jalen Williams, who had a little bit of a scary moment where he got hit in the eye, but he was all right. He's been good. This team just offensively, defensively are a machine, bro. The Pelicans can't get any shots off. And CJ McCollum, it has not been great. Brandon Ingram has not been great. Like, they're missing Zion so much. And the role players, they're doing, like, Larry Nance Jr. has given them good minutes, right? Valanciunas has given them okay minutes, but it's not enough compared to, Cason Wallace giving them good minutes or Josh Giddey giving them good minutes. Lou Dort has been fantastic. Lou Dort has been locking Brandon Ingram up. Brandon Ingram hasn't been able to do anything this series. Nothing. He's fighting over screens. He's not allowing himself to get screened. He's contesting. He's being physical. Like, he's making it tough for him. Everything. Like, Brandon Ingram cannot shake him off, and that's a testament to Lou Dort and his defense for real. But I would expect, like, the Pelicans have not showed me anything through these 3 games that they really can avoid this sweep. I would expect OKC to win, honestly, and wait for the winners of the Mavericks Clippers series. New Orleans, unfortunately, Zion got hurt, but this has been a really bad showing. Besides game 1 where it was close, this has been a really bad showing in games 2 and game 3. Hey, I always say, at least try to get one game. You're down 3-0. You're probably not going to win, but at least try to get game 4. But congratulations, OKC. Probably going to win the series. The youngest team in the league. The youngest number 1 seed in NBA history. The youngest number 1 seed in NBA history, bro. Like, what a fantastic season. Their coach, Mike Dagnall, just won Coach of the Year. So congratulations to him. And we'll see them in the next round. Then let's pivot to the Clippers and the Mavericks. Games 3 and Game 4, I don't think I covered either of those. Game 3 was just Clippers getting spanked, really. Kawhi, his knee is not right. Didn't play in Game 4. But not OKC, but the Mavericks, they weren't able to capitalize off that, man. Last night, the Clippers ended up winning. Paul George. Actually, let me pull up the box score because it was absolutely impressive what Paul George and James Harden did to carry that team last night. They were up. They were up by 31 points. The Mavericks came storming back, bro. Storming back because the Clippers just couldn't miss from 3 in the first half. And then at the end of the second quarter, Mavericks make it a little bit of a run, make it a little closer, cut the lead to like 16-15 at halftime. And then Kyrie had 0 points in the first quarter. He ended up the game with 40 points, bro. 40 points, bro. He was magnificent, bro. Like, magnificent for real. Harden, 12 of 17. He had 33 points. We'll get to him because his fourth quarter was great. Paul George, 26 points in the first half. Ended the game with 33 points. Had 7 threes. Hit a very clutch bucket at the end in the fourth quarter because they were down. He has a really tough step back 3 in the corner to give them the lead. James Harden, we all know his playoff resume is not great. He's had some good games, but when the team needs him, he has not shown up. Today, or yesterday I should say, he showed up. He showed up in the best way. I believe he had 13 or 15 points in the fourth quarter. Bro, this was getting me mad. Why were the Dallas Mavericks letting him get to the paint so easily? James Harden cannot get to the basket the same way. I mean, he's older. It happens. He can still get to the basket, but it's not as fluid and as dangerous as it was, when he was on the Rockets. Nobody could guard him. Luka was letting letting James Harden get past him. PJ Washington get past him. He has 6 floaters in the fourth quarter. Literally the same exact shot 6 times, and they didn't do anything to stop it. It was a little frustrating to watch. But you have to shout out James Harden. They really needed those 6 buckets in the fourth quarter. They almost blew the entire lead. And then you get to the Mavericks. Luka did have a triple-double, 29, 10, and 10. But then he was 10 of 24, 1 of 9 from 3. He said after the game he was letting Kyrie down. He feels like he was letting Kyrie down because Kyrie was magnificent, bro. 40 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 7 turnovers though, but that's the one thing you could point out that was negative. He was fantastic. He was getting to the paint. Once he got going, he just got going. Like, he had this tough bucket. Oh my God, he had this really tough bucket over James Harden, Terrence Mann, and Paul George. Oh man, I should really. I'm gonna post a picture, a future version of me when you're editing this. Post a picture of Kyrie laying it up on all 3 of them, okay? I mean, the guy was absolutely phenomenal. Listen, he's the most skilled player to ever play the game of basketball. There's nothing he can't do. The guy is like 6'2" and can do anything on the court. It's absolutely unbelievable. The Mavericks didn't take advantage of the opportunity. Again, Kawhi Leonard did not play in game 4. He tried to play through the knee inflammation. It's not healing the way they wanted to heal. So they go back tied 2-2. Mavericks, they have to do a better job defensively. They can't just let Harden get to the paint every damn time in the fourth quarter. Last series in the West, we got the Lakers and the Nuggets, who also played tonight. The Denver Nuggets did not sweep them. The Lakers actually got their first win against the Nuggets in a very, very long time. The Lakers are still probably going to lose the series, being down 3-0. We all know no one has ever come back from it, but I will give them credit. LeBron had 30. Anthony Davis had 25 points and 23 rebounds. D'Angelo 21. Austin Reeves also had 21. They both played great. This is what you need. LeBron and Anthony Davis have been great this series. You need Austin Reeves, you need D'Angelo Russell, or you need one of your role players on the bench to do something. And they showed up. Again, this was a game where they were up at halftime. They've been up at halftime every single game this series. They have been up by 10 points every single game this series. But in the second half, they were never able to keep the lead. I think they were good at not turning the ball over. LeBron had 6 turnovers, but LeBron has the ball in his hand so much, he's gonna have the turnovers. Denver was they were inconsistent. They usually are better at being consistent. Again, another poor shooting game from Jamal Murray. Still ends up with 22. He was 9 of 23 from the field. Jokic had a regular game. It's crazy how 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 14 assists is a regular game now. It's crazy. But he played phenomenal. Michael Porter Jr. probably has been their most I want to say, besides Jokic, he's probably been their most consistent player. When he's playing, this team just looks so different because he's so dangerous every part of the floor. He can catch and shoot. He can shoot off the move. No one's blocking his shot. I'm going to keep saying it every time. The fact that you have a 6'10 guy playing the small forward position is a cheat code in today's NBA. 27, 11, hit 4 threes. He played 40 minutes. Those 8 minutes that he didn't play, the Nuggets were a negative. When he did play, they were a positive. So he's been probably their most important piece, obviously, besides Jokic, in this series. They're gonna need to get a little more consistency, but I'm not worried. They're probably gonna win the series. But congratulations to the Lakers, I guess, for forcing a Game 5. And we'll see if they can force a Game 6 tonight. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, you got Boston and Miami, who is the first game tonight. They, as in Miami, lost Game 3. Very similar to how it was in Game 1. Like, I'm watching the game, and I'm just thinking, like, Eric Spoelstra, why are you playing zone? You cannot play zone against them, okay? They played multiple possessions of zone in a row, and Boston just broke it. Just broke it. Okay, they had like 42 points because they played it in the second quarter. They're going to play with, if Bam Adebayo is not on the court, They're going to play zone because Kevin Love is their backup center, and you know he ain't no switch defender. He's old. He's never been a great defender. But they could just pick it apart. I don't know why you keep playing zone. You saw Thomas Bryant minutes, but Thomas Bryant, the minute he got into the game, Boston Celtics was like, "Oh, really? Oh, you gonna put Thomas Bryant in the game? All right, we're just gonna keep attacking him." And they scored their first possession. Like, you know, Thomas Bryant can't do nothing. So it's pretty unfortunate. The Boston Celtics made their adjustments. They were harder on closeouts. They were harder on all the off-ball movement. You know, Miami is a cutting, screening team, handoff, dribble handoffs, all that other stuff. They did a pretty good job. Shout out to them. They were the more physical team on a defensive end. Eventually, that just led to their offense starting to click. They got up the threes that they wanted to get up. Porzingis was more of a factor. He had a bad game 2. In game 3, he had scored their first 8 points. I knew it was over. Honestly, when he scored the first 8 points, I knew it was over, bro. Like, I did. And Miami on the other end had like 3 points in the first 7 minutes of the quarter. Like, they couldn't get no offense. Like, the way they played in game 1 is almost the exact way they played in game 3, which makes no sense because, like, you saw how to play in game 2. You had the formula to win, and they just didn't do any of that. Again, credit to Boston's defense, but Miami kept turning the ball over. I don't know why. Like, you don't have the talent to stick with these guys. You're missing Jimmy Butler. You're missing Terry Rozier. You're missing Josh Richardson. Delon Wright didn't play, but as I found out today, Delon Wright had a child, so congratulations to him. He will play in game 4. Why are you playing the exact way in game 1 that you did in game 3? You know you got to play like you did in game 2. You know you can't pass up open shots. You know you can't turn the ball over, and they did all of those things. So I expect them to come out with more physicality, with more intention. The offensive process, the defensive process have to be better. So we'll see if they can tie it up. Moving on to the Orlando, bro. Okay, we're gonna talk about Orlando and Cleveland. Cleveland, remember, won the first 2 games. Then they go to Orlando, and Orlando wins their next 2 games. The series is tied 2-2. They play tomorrow. First of all, credit to Orlando for getting back into the series. Their offense has been acceptable. These 2 games, about Banchero, Franz Wagner was probably their MVP, I would say, in game 4. But yeah, their defense is swarming. The Cleveland Cavaliers are struggling to score. The crazy thing is, in game 4 they were up. They were up at halftime, but part of it was because Orlando kept turning the ball over, giving them easy shots. They had scored a lot of points off the turnovers, and then they stopped turning the ball over in the second half, and Cleveland just couldn't score no more. They got blown out in the game. I don't have the score in front of me. Let's look up the score because they got blown out, 89 to 112. Another game where the Cleveland Cavaliers can't crack 100 points. Max Strus has not been good. Donovan Mitchell was good the first 2 games. He was not good today, 18 points. Or he was not good on Saturday, 18 points. Jarrett Allen has probably been their best offensive player. Their most consistent offensive player, I should say. 21 points and 9 rebounds. They can't get any threes. They were 4 of 17 from 3, 15 turnovers. It's the Orlando Magic defense. It's their top 5 defense that's leading them. Banchero only had 9 points. For their best player to have 9 points and you to lose by that much, it's sad. It's tragic. This is what Cleveland gets. This is karma. They purposefully lost their last game of the season so they could play the Orlando Magic because they thought it would be an easier matchup. And now look, they can't score. The Magic are in the groove now. And I don't know if Donovan Mitchell was not healthy because remember he ended the season with the knee stuff. But they just look horrible. They look horrible on the offensive end. Their defense can't seem to carry them. They're a good defensive team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, but their defense can't carry them. We'll see if they could make turn the series back around in Game 5. But all the momentum right now is on the Orlando Magic side. They don't have pressure, really. They don't. They're a young team. They just make the playoffs. They just won their first home playoff game in Game 3 in like over a decade or something like that. So there's no pressure on them. All the pressure's on Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell has the potential to be a free agent. All signs are pointed that he doesn't want to stay, that he might want to leave. So you have to win. You have to win this series, Cleveland. And these past 2 games have shown me I don't know if you're capable of doing that. All right. The Knicks and the Philly series. The Knicks go up 3-1 after Jalen Brunson, 47 points, 10 assists, the first 40-10 game by a Knicks player ever, and also the most points by a Knicks player in playoff history for that franchise. The guy was absolutely amazing all night, getting into the paint, floater after floater. He has great fundamentals. His spin moves, the pivots, the up and unders, the mid-range. Like, he's such a good mid-range player. It's the reason why the mid-range can't die. We play in such a high-level 3-point offense, 3 points or get to the paint. Like, the mid-range is still alive. And I'm glad people like DeRozan and him and Kevin Durant are keeping it alive, because the way he operates in the mid-range has been so deadly. Embiid can't really protect the paint, can't really step up if they're running a pick and roll, and he's just getting the mismatch. When Jalen Brunson's on the court, he's just getting whatever matchup he wants and hunting every single person on the court because he doesn't feel like he can't be guarded, and he can't, by the way. So shout out to him. OG Anunoby has 16, 14 rebounds and like 4 blocks. He was great defensively. On the other side, you have Philly, who Embiid had 26 points or 27 points, 1 point in the fourth quarter. 1. That's horrible. 1 point in the fourth quarter. He did nothing. He was 0 for 5 in the fourth quarter, at least, I believe. I understand his knee is messed up. I really do understand, but he said after game 2, we're the better team. We're going to win this series. Well, now you're down 3-1. Okay, you're down 3-1. I don't see how you're going to win the series. Game 5 is tomorrow in New York. Hey, look, first of all, the New York Knicks were never on the road. If you listen to the games 3 and game 4 in Philly, it was basically a Knicks home game. A bunch of Knicks fans showed up in Philly, took over the arena, and just gave life to the Knicks. Like, it was crazy. It's crazy. I mean, they're close. Like, I'm in New York. Philly is not that far. It's not that far. But for them to show up that way, I won't lie. I give the Knicks fans credit for showing up to their team on the road. But the Knicks look like they're poised to win this series. They would play the winner between Indiana and Milwaukee, which is the next series and the last series that we'll get to. Milwaukee is now down 3-1 to the Indiana Pacers. Chris Middleton in game 3, 42 points, 10 rebounds. That game ended up going to overtime. Indiana won by 3. Unfortunate news, that was the game that Damian Lillard actually has an Achilles injury. He's going up for a layup, I believe it was the second quarter. And then Pascal Siakam accidentally lands on his foot as Damian Lillard is falling to the ground. He went to the locker room, came back, but just didn't look the same. He wasn't good at all. He was definitely playing through the pain. He had 28 points, but he was like 6 of 20 from the field. Chris Middleton again was good in game 3, but when it's basically him, their best offensive option, it's tough. He had 25 and 10. But Bobby Portis gets ejected in the first quarter after getting tangled with Andrew Nembhard from Indiana. Brook Lopez had a good game. He had 27. Malik Beasley is in the starting lineup for Dame. He had 20. But when the Pacers make 22 threes, Halliburton had 5 threes. He had 24. I said he needed a good scoring game. He gave that. But I gotta give the credit to Miles Turner. Miles Turner has been fantastic offensively this series. First game he was 5 for 17, but since then in games 2, 3, and 4 he has been phenomenal. He's been hitting the three consistently. He dunked on Brook Lopez the other day. He's been fantastic. Pascal Siakam, 13, 9, and 7, but he's been good all series. Aaron Nesmith has been good. He wasn't efficient in game 3, but just his energy, his defensive prowess, like the guy is tough. Aaron Nesmith is a dog, bro. He's really, really tough. He's on Chris Middleton basically the entire night, making his life as difficult as possible. And then you have like good minutes from like Obi Toppin off the bench and Ben Shepherd, their rookie, and TJ McConnell. Just everybody giving you a little something. The Indiana crowd has been great. They're up 3-1 now. If Damian Lillard doesn't play, which I think is doubtful, obviously Giannis is out. He will continue to be out. I don't see the Milwaukee Bucks winning this series. It looks like Indiana Pacers will win their first playoff series in how long? I don't even remember. Is it 2014 the last time they won a playoff series? When they went to the Eastern Conference Finals against Miami? That might have been the last time they won. I'll have to double check, but that might have been the last time they won a playoff series. So they'll play the winners between they're the 3-6 matchup. So they'll probably end up playing the Knicks, who is the two seed. That might be a fun series going into the season. You never thought the Indiana Pacers would be in the second round, did you? But here we are, man. Injuries have really plagued this season, this playoff season. Kawhi's hurt, Jimmy Butler's hurt, Zion Williamson is hurt, Julius Randle is hurt, Joel Embiid is hurt. I feel like I'm missing somebody. But so many star players are hurt for so many different teams. And then you have these young guys coming up like Indiana or the Knicks, and they've been able to make a statement. Miami, OKC, the Lakers, all their games are today. We'll see if OKC completes the sweep. We'll see if Denver can complete their gentleman's sweep, or if the Lakers can force a game 6. We'll see if Miami can tie the games. And when those games happen, I got y'all with a recap. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Thank y'all for listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I am better than ESPN, as we all know. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.